Oh, okay, so here we go. Now, the reason that we are wiggling from side to side is that our lymphatic system is connected in the middle of our body. And when we get stressed, what happens is that part goes stiff. And there's something, one of the yoga things that a lot of people do is you lie down on your back, you cross your legs, and then you lay them down to the left and lay them down to the right. And that's actually called the $1 million twist, because if everybody did it, we would save millions of dollars in lengthened lifespan and less cardiovascular diseases and less inflammatory diseases and less everything and more of everything good. So what we're doing now is we're simply wiggling, waggling to and fro. Hi, Chiggy. And we're doing this because it loosens up that part of the body. Now, we're not doing it fast. We're using micro expression. So see how slow you can do it. Hi, Paula. Hola. ¿Todo bien? Great.
Todo bien, gracias.
So we're wiggling from side to side, and this is basically a body havening. And we are recording, Chiggy and Paula, just so you know it, because some people wanted to see this. And more people are joining, so remind me to explain to them that we're recording if they don't see it. And it's all good because some have had problems with the connection in Texas, in Houston. There's been no electricity. In other places in the US, there's been storms with no electricity. And all we have to do is wiggle, waggle, and the storms will go away. So, the part of your body that actually is the pump that pushes your lymph system around is under your diaphragm. So when you breathe in a deep breath and your belly goes out, protrudes, it's not because your lungs go down into the belly, it's because your lungs press down your intestines, your bowels, so that you expand in the middle of the body. And when you do that, that's a pump that pumps lymph around. And when that pump stops, your circulation stops. And that's when your lymph system, which ends in your right foot, could stagnate. So the first sign of a stagnated lymph system is actually that you're feeling discomfort or dis-ease in your right lower end of your right leg. Hi, Andrea. We're recording. Hope that's okay. Lovely smile. Is that a real window or a fake?
Fake backdrop.
Okay, thank you. I envy you less. So we're wiggling from side to side. So please just do that. Now, the whole lymph thing is something I discovered just during the last year, and it's really changed everything I do. Because clients who are deeply depressed usually have hypoarousal. And hypoarousal means that if you meditate or do mindfulness or slow breathing, you might kickstart a depression. And not knowing that, I was helping everybody in the same way. And that's just not a good idea. So our wiggling right now is just to check in with each other and make sure that we're good and that we're happy to be here. And there we go. So if we add to this, you could try just this. Put your fingertips together and act as if you're going to have just barely connection between them, between all 5 or 10 fingers, depending on how many you have. If you're an octopus, they're 8 or 16. Some have 12. Some play banjo, only octopus. So imagine having a little bit of air between your fingers right now. So they're not pushing against each other. And now what you do is you close your eyes and you maintain that light connection between your fingers as you move. So to be able to do this, you need to focus inward. You need to mobilize the electroimpulses of your muscles. You need to concentrate in a way that an otter or a sea lion would concentrate. You need to do this in the exact same way that bricks don't. David, are you joining us? Your fingers are there. Yes, that's good. A little wiggle waggle from you, please. I want to see the beard waving in the wind. Beautiful. As you will notice, join in, Raya. We're just wiggling, waggling to and fro, and fingertips barely touching and closing your eyes. So this is a lighter trance. This is what it feels like. This is self-hypnosis 101 in the absolutely easiest way. This is not something your body will do if you're chased by wild tigers or tax collectors. So you need to have your limbic system connected and find the rhythm that makes you calm. And if you see somebody in a lunatic asylum in a movie, this is what they will be doing. They will be rocking to and fro. And that's not because you're crazy. It's because it calms everybody down. And even a wise person in there will know that. And now you take a deep breath. Breathe in and hold that breath. And blow out and relax. Again, you take a deep breath in. And you hold that breath. And then you blow out and relax. And we're going to do it a third time. And this time is going to be special. So listen carefully. You're going to breathe in and hold your breath. And then I will give you new instructions. And you're going to succeed because you cannot not succeed. And you cannot be good, but you also cannot be bad. So for the perfectionist, this is perfect. So breathe in, deep breath. Hold that breath. And now relax your muscles around your lungs and breathe out on the longest S, the letter S, S as in Spain, as in soothing. On the longest S you could muster. Do it now. Until you come to a stop. There you go. And once you come to a stop, you know, some people will keep doing this waggling because it feels good. But now we're going to just check in and we're going to see, you know, I just want you to very quickly, like 1 minute each, no more, because we're plenty of people. And just let me know where you're at this moment in your life. Are you feeling up, down, like somebody said, you know, you have to excuse me, I have a migraine. That's fine, you know. Are you feeling great, or I have this challenge? That's good for us to know. And then what you're hoping to bring with you from today. And I'll just call you out because it's easier. So Vic, how about you start? Yes.
Hi, Ulf. Apologies for missing you before. So apologies for that. I'm not very good with the internet, but I'm learning hard. So for me, it's a learning journey at the moment. I love Havening. I use it when I can. I'd like some more clients, and I need to know how to put myself there.
Oh, you want more clients?
Yes, please.
I will reveal the secret. It's very easy.
Thank you. I know. I want to spread it. I've got letters
you
written.
will.
You know, I just keep reading people here, articles and papers about people taking drugs. I've worked within the NHS. You know, I just want this.
Yes. No, I've actually unlocked the secret lock of how clients come to you. So I will reveal that. Yes. Thank you. Carol? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, the quick fix didn't work this time. Spacebar.
Ah.
I, like Vic, want some more clients because I really want to get this shifting careers. So
Yes.
Yeah, into this. I am feeling grateful to catch an event live with you and excited for the possibilities. So
Right. Have you attended? You've attended before, haven't you?
I missed the other two, so I had to do them by recordings, but I'm on your leadership one.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Yeah, but I'm
and the leadership is, what do you feel about that?
I am really excited. And I'm trying to let go, and I want to get into that place of childlike curiosity. So I'm really looking forward to that kind of really becoming my foundation to move everything forward.
Excellent. Thanks for that. So there's a leadership training, which everybody was invited to it. And if you missed it, I'm sorry, but there will be another chance. So in 4 hours, we redefine everything you know or thought you knew and your view of the world and yourself. And it's kind of both. It's like a bungee jump into reality. Yeah. Thank you. Lizzie?
Yeah, that breathing process really helped to ground me. So I'm feeling very grateful for that. That was a significant change from when I just first got on here. So I'm feeling very grateful, and I hope to bring joy to this experience.
Well, you already did. So what are you going to do now?
I plan to be present and open and participate.
Excellent. So let me just share this, because as we go around, I'm going to throw in a few things at the same time, because, you know, it's an ongoing thing, this. So we're doing a lot of different trainings at the moment. And one of these trainings is leadership. And another training is how to find, it's a longer journey. It's 48 hours spread out over a year. So it's called The Transformation of You, and it's based on a manuscript of a book. It's kind of like Kate Barron's The Work, but in a little different kind of way. And among the things we teach every time is a practical way to actually make a difference. Now, we had a lot of people join, and they were saying, my thoughts are racing, my thoughts are going all directions, I can't stop my thoughts. And they say, how can I stop them? And we keep saying the same thing. You cannot stop fire with fire. You cannot stop water with water. You cannot stop thoughts with thoughts. You stop your thoughts by changing your physiology, which means breathing or temperature or posture or energy or what part of the brain is actually involved at the moment. So one of the tricks, and I don't like to call it tricks or hacks because it's neurobiology, that we taught the whole group, we said, if you take a bowl and you put crushed ice into it and you fill it up with water so that it's ice cold, and the next time you're stuck in your head or stuck in an emotion in your body, all you need to do is walk up to that bowl and put your hands in and count more or less to see how long it takes. How many seconds will it take until you have totally shifted everything you feel and think? Now, when we came back the next time, 2 had done it. The rest hadn't. And the 2 who had done it were euphoric. And the rest were like, why didn't I do that? I thought about it, but I didn't do it. See, the reasons are many. When you change your body temperature into cold, it changes your vagus tone, which means you are upregulating your parasympathetic nervous system. You are downregulating the sympathetic. It's an automatic neurobiological response, just like havening, just like tapping. So cold water in the face or cold water with your hands dipped into it, or even a cold bath or a cold shower, will shift your emotions and your thoughts much faster than anything else.
Maybe that's what the weather's doing with the southern part of the United States.
Maybe that is what the weather's doing with the southern
Changing
part of the
Vegas
state.
tone.
Yep, there we go. All of a sudden, Texas is not going to be all about big hats and killing things. It's going to be about being nice and having hamsters and learning them tricks. Do we have any Texans here? I have a lot of Texan friends. It's their joke, not mine. Are you from Texas, Carol?
Son is there. So yeah, he's been part of the black rollouts and now boiling water. So yeah, finally got electricity and able to cook. So
there you go. Yeah. Well, we feel for all of them. And I even get PJ isn't here. PJ is in Texas. And I told her, you know, if you want to keep hot, you know, what you have to do is you have to have multi-layers. We Swedes know this. You know, we mate with ice bears. So you have plenty of layers of clothes so that you get air between them. And then the body heats up the air and the heated air will keep you warm. That's it. It's simple. Okay, Jonas, what you got for us?
Hello. Yeah. Well, I'm in the beginning of starting a company like to help people with stress and anxiety, phobias. Yeah, everything. So I'm just here collecting everything you have to teach me, and I'm just absorbing like a sponge, and yeah, basically that's it.
Excellent. What color is your sponge?
It's yellow.
Good. I like it. Thanks. Okay, Florence. You're muted,
Oh,
and now
that's
you're
it.
not.
I'm unmuted. So I'm in a very pleasant state of mind after we've done this exercise. It's very soothing. I love it. And I want to bring my curiosity basically to the table today.
Okay.
Hmm.
And we will receive it with joy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Helen?
Hello. Exercise today is wonderful. I feel very calm and present with everyone.
Beautiful. Any specific expectations?
With this and combined with the leadership one, I felt like I was in quicksand for a while, just like my whole world feels like it's like, where is the universe? I don't get it anymore. Which is a good thing. I think that's part of the expectation. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Applying it more readily. I mean, I'm doing it myself,
Yes.
but I always struggle with the other.
So the first step is we are actually hypnotists, all of us. And some of us are trained, and most of us are just autodidact, self-learned hypnotists. Every single word you say out loud or in your head is part of a hypnotic script that will create the mirage through which you navigate. Any word like difficult or hard will enhance the difficulty and hardness. So if you say, I am still a little bit unused to applying this to others, then that implies success through practice. Are you okay with that, Helen? There
Yeah,
we go.
I am. Thank you.
Thumbs up. Okay, Cindy.
Good morning, everyone. I missed the first 2 sessions of this, so I'm not sure what to expect, but I'm grateful and I have lots of curiosity. And the exercise helped me calm down, but I can't do the wiggle.
No, you don't have to, because you have the little bit of anti-wiggle.
I don't know what it is with me, but it makes me sick to my stomach.
No, I understand that. And then you shouldn't do it. But what you can try is just turning your head ever so lightly from side to side and see if it's the same thing. Just really, really slow.
I think my problem is I was just at the chiropractor this morning, which
That
is
could be so.
why it's making me feel so
Yeah,
dizzy.
no, much slower and much less. Like this. Watch me moving my head. Just like that. Yeah, like one of those lawn sprinklers, but going in slow motion. That's actually a neurological trauma treatment that is quite amazing. Because by
Nice.
using micro movements, you're actually engaging the parts of the brain that need to reconnect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. I'm excited about today.
Yeah, David, what you got for us?
Oh, well, I'm open to whatever, and I'm sorry I knew nothing about the previous adventures, but as well as being curious, I am actually seeking adventure.
There you go.
Nice.
So
I don't know what it'll amount to, but I am seeking adventure.
and the prerequisite for adventure is to not know where you're going. Otherwise, it's not an adventure, right?
Well, I have no idea at all.
There you go.
Going,
Relax,
so
buckle up, and
that's
enjoy the ride.
definitely one prerequisite.
Yeah. Excellent. Welcome. Kristen?
Oh, I want
today to figure out how I could let go of having to learn and just learn.
Yeah.
It's like I feel engorged with so much information that's coming from without, and probably way more information that's coming from within.
Yeah.
And it's like the tendency is to want to act on it or do something. I mean, that's what I do. And rather than to sort of let it digest and flow through and kind of let my system figure it out,
Yeah.
you know, and not my thoughts, but like, how does it flow?
Yeah.
You know, rather than having to do something. This is
Yeah.
this block, having to do something and having to do it this way.
So what's the opposite of having to do something?
Oh, just being, just relaxing and seeing what happens, you know, like being with a client and just seeing what rises up inside of me. And
So what would happen if you never again used the words had to do?
I don't know.
Why don't we find out? Because like in Harry Potter, it's every magical incantation consists of words that have the effect of the words.
Mhm.
So what if you treat your clients, what's the most fluid thing you like doing? Bicycling, swimming, dancing?
I like all those things.
So what if you bicycle, swim, dance with your clients?
That would be fun.
Great. Cool. Thanks. Rachel.
Mhm.
Ilf, when you said bungee jumping, my heart went pitter patter.
And is that a good pitter patter or a
I
different
think so.
one?
Yeah, I think so. A little bit going into the unknown, a little adventurous excitement. And yeah, lots of tips and tricks. I'm excited to be here.
Cool. Thank
Fun.
you. Tips and tricks there will be.
Feels playful. Mhm.
Excellent. Janine?
Hi, Ulf. Hi, everyone. I'm very grateful for any learning opportunity that comes up with you, Ulf. I'm in New Zealand, and as you know, I get up really early to join in.
Yeah.
So very grateful for that. I am completely new to any kind of therapy, so havening is actually the only certification I have.
Right.
So
Are you a mother?
Yes, I am. Yep.
How many kids?
3 stepchildren and 2 of our own.
And you're not a therapist?
Well, yeah. I knew you were going to challenge me on that. So yeah, there's lots of things I've done, and I've learned a lot. What I'm finding at the moment is there's so much I want to learn and so many opportunities, and I keep wanting to do it all. So I've ended up feeling a little bit scattered about that. So I'd like to work out a way just to sort of focus down on working on a few things.
Yeah.
And so I moved home from living in London about 10 months ago and thought, right, by February, I am going to have started up a business. And there just seems to have been a lot of things that have got in the way of that. So I'm just focusing on the opportunities to learn until I'm feeling more ready.
Yeah. How did your kids learn to walk?
By just giving it a go.
And they didn't say there were so many steps to take that they didn't know when to start?
No. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Paul is walking the dog. Erika?
Hi. I'm really happy to be here, and I always get a lot of fun inspiration from you. I was wearing these headphones today, and it made me a little bit of motion sick. So I've been trying to figure how I can move, but not move my head. So I've been kind of moving my hands. Seems to be a little
Moving
bit
hands
better.
works well too. Well, everybody can try that. Just try your hands now. Let's do the Erica thing. Yeah. So
And
this
then
is
like
this is Erica therapy.
for Erica.
It's an Erica therapy. Well, it's hard to
Yeah.
pronounce, but it's a good therapy. Erica therapy.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's great to be here. I want to do the leadership class. I can't figure out how to make that in my schedule.
Hmm.
And it's a time right now of a lot of growth and excitement in my life
Yeah,
with havening.
exactly. Yeah. So if you break a leg, how do you make room for that?
You have no choice.
Thank you. Chiggy?
Hi. Apologies for being late. So
No apologies. We don't do that. Sorry.
yeah, my neighbour, I was up all night with my neighbour who's very ill, and we've now got an ambulance in the drive. So
But we have to stop right here. So the reason I stop every apology is because apology actually makes people pissed. It's been a science test on this at Berkeley University. So instead of saying you're sorry, which means you underdelivered, which makes people mad, you say what you wish that should have happened, and everybody smiles. So you say, I wish I was here on time. That's all you need to say.
okay, I wish I was here on time and
Yeah,
was not feeling guilty about being here and not with my neighbour right now. So, but I guess my other thing, I would love to have a way of taking notes with my clients without losing the presence, and I sometimes feel I miss out on listening to them because I'm taking notes.
Are you using the intake sheet of Havening?
Do I use the hypnosis or the Havening one? I think the
Okay.
Havening one. I think the
Yeah.
Havening one.
So the Havening one is for learning. It's very long. It has a load of questions. It's deconstructing everything into every detail. And if you do that the rest of your life, you're going to be feeling like a bureaucrat, also treating people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I try not to do that, but in all my sessions, I try and take notes, and maybe I shouldn't be.
Well, I'll tell you what you need to take. We're going to do a kind of test session, right? So I know this is taking time, but this is the most valuable thing we have. Knowledge we can just transfer in a video, but sharing information and challenges is way more interesting, and it's much more rare. So, thanks for that. And now we got taking notes, creating a business, learning stuff like riding a bike while dancing underwater. That's fine. And then we go to Paula. Thanks, Chiggy.
Hello. My English is not very good.
No, your English is perfect.
I will try. I come back to Puerto Rico now. So I was in Colombia in December. So in this moment, I try to adapt it again. And I like too much learn with you. So I am here because I like too much. It's like, oh my God, it's very excited for me listen to you and the others, of course. And I want to learn more and more about that. I use Haveling with 10 people, 10 person. I want to do this more, but better. So thank you.
More and better and having fun. That's wonderful. You're so welcome.
Yes.
Anneli?
Hello, everyone. Anneli Skog here. I want to learn this technique and more tools to avoid to get depressed from the social anorexia with COVID-19 and help other people and friends.
Yep. And I like that. And as much as I like it, it still contains the words depressed and avoid. So if you took away those words and said two things that could paint a painting you would like to have, what is it you would like to have in these times?
I want to feel faith and hope and have a feeling of peace and happiness.
Faith, hope, peace, and happiness. I can go for that. So we're going to run over time if you're all okay with that. So if you're not okay with that, it's still okay because I'm okay with that. So Raya, please.
I love the way you talk off So I'm doing better and better. Looking forward to sleeping even better. The information on the lymphatics is fascinating to me. And one suggestion coming from Korean yoga, they do something called toe tapping. So if these were my feet, I'm saying this because it doesn't involve the head. If these were my feet and you like windshield wiper them, they say that also works with the lymphatics. I was thinking like that, or even like this might be helpful for some people.
Absolutely. Excellent. Thank you for that. Annika? That's my sister, my beloved sister.
Hello, everybody. I'm in a situation where I am surrounded by people not suffering from, but living with cancer, PTSD, workplace bullying, COVID stress over their businesses, big pastoral needs in the church. And I really enjoy seeing how I can take practical nuggets from these sessions and in my little way offer not only friendship, but a kind of a hope and a vision of a solution. I mean, I do the tapping, and I love the verbal first aid book, as you know, Wolf. And I love the havening. And especially for my good friend who is currently undertaking cancer treatment, this is something that I feel I can offer, and that people are often very receptive. You don't find that, guys. People are often very receptive when you offer hope and something positive and project away from the self and give them a bit of a vision of something good.
Yep.
That's where I am.
Definitely. And here's the thing. Together with my colleague Fredrik, we've been sitting, every day for 4 or 5 years trying to suss out what is it that makes people talk. So what we found is that we actually deciphered love, and it fits together with the science of Berkeley University of how we can use gratitude to find peace. So if you don't mind, I'm going to give you our model of how love actually works, which is kind of the opposite of what we thought. But the model works perfectly and fits into this. So Verbal First Aid that Annika mentions is Judith Seaman Prager. It's a book called Verbal First Aid, or The Worst is Over, Words That Matter When Life is Traumatic. So whatever you say what you would like to have happen instead of what you would not like to have happen. And that's the same thing I've been correcting with everybody since we started. Say what you would like to have happen instead of what you wouldn't like to have happen. Allow every word you say to be transformed into part of a mirage or painting or map that you would like to explore. Anything toxic, just take it away. There's always a towards goal from every away from goal. The trance that you put yourself in, the toxic trance, as we call it, my hypnotic homies and me, we say toxic trance, because as soon as you repeat the words that make you feel bad, you are reinforcing feeling bad. As soon as you repeat the words that make you feel good, you are watering the plants of good, and they will grow. So this is not ancient wisdom, although it is, and it's not very hard, although it's easy, and you may want to just try it. Yes, Annika?
I just wanted to add, for anybody out there who has friends or children who insist on sitting on motorbikes, instead of saying, I don't want you to crash, it'd be a real good thing to get into your head to say, I'd love you to get home safely. Just thought I'd mention that.
That's a very good goal. Only mothers know that. Okay, Andrea, what do you have for us?
Sorry. So I have this thing with you, Wolf, that every time you start swaying, you start making me yawn like nonstop, which is fine. Cognitive shifts, I get it. And then when you're like, whenever you tell me like, touch this, whatever, I start itching so much on the right side of the back of my head. I'm like, I hate him when he does this to me. Because there's some kind of reaction that you trigger in doing that. And I've tried it without you.
Yes.
I don't get that.
No. See, this is the ulf in the back of the right head of the scalp allergy. It's very well known.
It's so annoying. And then I'll be scratching. I'm like, stop it. And I feel like it's a self-sabotaging thing. Like my body's like, uh-oh, they're trying to change you. You know, like, let me throw in a little pain here. Like when we were doing the swaying, you told us to close our eyes. Did you see me like grabbing I'm like, stop it, migraine from hell came. I'm like, no. So then I was doing my Dien Chan, my, you know, like the trigger point therapy where you're massaging and it started going away. So annoying. Now I know I got my issues. I've been working on them. This is why I've got my training, you know, and why I won't actually see anyone paying until I finish and get rid of my crap. But yeah, so that's why all these little therapy sessions and all of these trainings, I apply them to myself. And if they work, then I can put them down on the good list, like the good list, because most therapies don't work for me. Most medications don't work for me. So when something does, and I can go to someone else who has similar background or similar type of problems with medications or therapies that don't work, I tell them, look, this worked for me. And you know that I've been for years trying things, and they're like, oh, okay. And then they try it, you know? So that's why I'm so thankful for this and for all the work that you guys do.
Thank you. Now whenever I see a strategy that could backfire, I point it out, and it's up to you if you want to take it or not. So there was a chimpanzee and a fish, and they were really good friends. And one day the fish was floating upside down. So the monkey scooped down into the water, put the poor bugger up and put him on the branch and said, don't you worry, little friend. I got you. We're going to have bananas today. Is it itching now? All right. So I want to remind you all about a clean approach. Now, the nuggets of today is I've been spending the last month thinking I knew what a clean approach is, and I didn't. I had a fairly clean approach, and it could be so much cleaner once I understood more of what clean actually means. So today, basically, I wouldn't teach any therapy of any kind or parenthood or helping any person anywhere without informing about clean language and a clean approach. Because you see, the thing is this, if we just do this once again, all of us, everybody right now, think of a fruit quickly. Okay. Everybody thought about a banana up with your hand. Apples. Red apples, green apples, strawberries, peaches, pears. There we go. So this is the reason why everything doesn't work for everybody and some things work for everybody. And when you're saying that you want to learn a lot, you know, the wise words from my daughter is, you can learn, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. Because there's a time limit. There's a window of opportunity since you were born, and on your trip from the maternity ward to the graveyard, you will find things you can do. But there are so many, so you need to choose those that are fun, meaningful, and give you pleasure. And that's my advice, because that is what will give you business. Here's the deal. If a client comes to you and says, I want your help, it's because they're not feeling the way they would like to. It's not about the thinking. They could have obsessive compulsive disorder and disaster thoughts and automatic negative thoughts. That's not a problem unless it makes you feel frustrated or bad. They could have hypoarousal, which means their nervous system is running low on cortisol and doesn't have the serotonin or the dopamine to make them going. That's not a problem unless it makes you feel depressed or out of energy and you're not happy feeling that. Some people take a vacation for hundreds of thousands just to feel relaxed. So if a client comes to you and says, I'm drinking too much or too little, smoking too much or too little, I'm biting my nails and I'm not doing it well enough, or whatever, that is not a problem. But if it makes them feel bad, it's a problem. Now, your thoughts, you can invite and you can control them to a certain degree, but you cannot decide what to think. I could say fruit, but you had no idea what fruit you would pick until you picked it. And I had no idea. So we don't really control our thoughts, we invite them. When it comes to behavior, we can invite a behavior, but a behavior can invite itself, just like a, nosy neighbor knocking on the door late at night going, "You got some wine?" Or coffee, or a cat, whatever they need. So the deal is, you can invite behaviors and you can practice them, but sometimes they have practiced themselves and you need to find a way to de-practice them. All that can be done with willpower. If you put a gun to the head of somebody biting their nails, they usually stop. So it's not a problem with the placating behavior. The problem is the anxiety it's trying to fix. All of the behaviors I said, biting nails, smoking, drinking, automatic negative thoughts, they're all there to soothe anxiety and stress. And stress is when we need to solve something, but we can't. So somebody knocks on your door and they say, "I need help." You don't really need to understand their childhood or their issues or the abuse or the cat they ran over or the homework they ate up, or was it the dog? None of that actually really matters unless they need for you to hear it. What matters is there any situation in which they do not feel okay? And if you can help them to feel different in that situation, or thinking about it, or if you can just open the door or the window of feeling something they didn't expect to feel, then they will walk away going, "You should see Vic. She's so good." How do you know? I feel it. And when somebody feels good, they will tell all their friends. But if they have to explain that they did a session for nail biting and procrastinating and drinking too much, they're not going to tell anybody. So I don't focus on the problem. I focus on the feeling. How would you like to feel? And I tell them, you hypnotize yourself. So for some of the people, they go, "No, I don't." And I say, write down, when you're feeling bad, write down exactly what you're saying in your head. I'm just saying the truth. What's the truth? Well, the truth is that it's difficult and I don't have enough money and I don't know how to resolve this and I need to lose 4 kilos. Yep. If that was a script given to you by an evil hypnotist, how would that make you feel? And they go, "Terrible." So I say, if you would rewrite that script until tomorrow, the next time I see you, what would it be if it could make you feel good? So it's becoming conscious of your thoughts. Now that's one way, and that works from one session to another, and it's an insight. But they're not going to leave you going, "Wow, that was amazing." Not unless you make them feel different. So the cheapest, easiest way and technique of making somebody leave you with a smile, do you know what that is? Make them smile. And the absolutely easiest way to make somebody smile is to smile. So they did an experiment in a large hospital in Canada where they told all the people in the hospital that we want you to smile to see what happens. And not a fake smile that doesn't reach the eyes. We want you to think about your best friend and smile as if that was the person before you. To everybody. To the drunk person coming in demanding some benzo late at night, to the anxious parent of the child who has actually no injury at all, but the parent is all upset, to the person having a heart attack and the child coming along with them saying, "Save my grandfather." To all of these, we want you to smile as if they're your future friend. So let's try that. You don't need to wiggle if you don't want it, but try the smile you would have for a friend. So you can close your eyes and imagine your friend, and it has to be their best friend. And somebody says, "I don't have a best friend." And I say, imagine that you did, and then smile that smile. The smile that your best friend would give you, the smile that somebody who lives you who loves you would smile when they see you or think of you. It doesn't have to be a person who's alive or dead or existing. You know, you can choose Zorro. You can choose Julio Iglesias. You can choose his mother. You can choose Buddha and Tara and their dog. But just get that smile going. And as you're smiling, your hormones will change. This is a shift in physiology. Shifting physiology changes hormones. You're an electrochemical organ. It's not hard. Now, there's even an experiment where people were said to put a pencil in their mouth 3 minutes a day. And if you do, you will find that the mouth believes that you are smiling, and the world smiles with you, like those sound concert. And on top of that, if you are a leader or a doctor, people will start laughing because it's ridiculous. And that's not a bad thing. Now, if that's the only thing you tell your client, they will leave you with a smile and they will recommend you. I promise you, it's that simple. That's why there are pretty girls in advertising. It's shown that both men and women think pretty girls are pretty girls, and that makes you feel good. So you associate feeling good with a brand. Actually, pretty boys can make people feel good too, but not as many for some reason. It's not investigated why. Or puppies. So this is true. So in this hospital, everybody agreed, and they would do the experiment. And how would they measure the results? They would see how many people got better in what time compared to before. But also they would see how many people would actually file complaints for mistreatment. Now that's a sure sign. Now here's the deal. If you get mistreated during a cancer treatment, which involves at least 5 experts, what will happen is most people will say, I want to do a lawsuit against whom? At the last doctor. Yeah, but it was the first one that mistreated you. Yeah, but I like them. So at this hospital, what actually happened was the doctors said, the nurses said, sure. Even the janitor said, sure. The girl at the reception and the guy at the reception, they said, sure, we'll smile. Heck yeah. The doctors, especially the surgeons, said, hell no, it ain't our job to smile. So a few of them actually refused on those grounds. So what happened? The nurses said, it's okay, we'll smile doubly. And they did. And people got well better, and the complaints and the lawsuits of mistreatment went down 30 to 40%. So forget the technique, forget the learning, forget what you're going to do with this client, and smile as if they're your best friend. And me and Gunilla, when we work at, for example, the refugee camp in Lesbos, where they have been riding a little rubber raft, 80 people, hypothermic, with babies blue on the lips, they come ashore. They don't want therapy. They don't speak English. They don't play baseball, and they don't play drums. What they want is a cup of tea and a smile. We call it TAS, the best treatment in the world. And actually, when they did a comparison between school medicine and complementary medicine, a big study, one of the doctors said, I realize that when people go to complementary medicine, they are paying more and they get a cup of tea and some incense and a candle. And we don't do that. So of course they get better results. So what is a clean approach? Let's have a look again. The clean approach assumes nothing. It assumes absolutely nothing and nil. A woman comes to you and says, my husband beat me up. You assume nothing. A child comes and says, I saw something really bad happen at home with my mama. You assume nothing. You say, when does this experience make you feel less well? And can you connect to that feeling now? Good, Chiggy. Good, Chiggy. Go, girl. That's no apologies. You'd like to stay, but you're going. We praise you. You assume nothing.
I will be back.
Well, you're welcome to be back. So we assume nothing, and we use the words of the person. Again, this is the clean approach. We don't know what fruit they're thinking of. If they say, I had a bad day, for somebody, you know, being a school teacher, that could mean the kids were not listening to me today. To my friend Saskia, who was an ambulance driver for many years, she said, I had a bad day when she came home. And her husband said, oh, you did, darling? What happened? I can't really remember. It was just bad. And then after dinner, she remembered that she scraped a child of the windshield of a car after an accident. And then she realized maybe there was some kind of emotional turnoff there. And then she quit working at the ambulance. But you have no idea what a bad day is. A bad day could be anything. So you use the words of the person. They say, I feel funky. You could be smart and go, oh, you mean like James Brown? They say, hell no, I mean funky. So you have no idea. They could mean Lenny Kravitz. You use the words of the person and you don't add, you don't subtract. You ask for no details unless offered. So somebody has cancer. It might be terminal. You have no idea. They have no idea. So you're thinking, what should I say? What should I do? Now, here's the deal. They've done examinations of loads of people who have terminal illness. And the last thing they want to do is talk about it. What they want to do is they want some gossip. Did you hear that Britney Spears shaved her head the second time and painted it red? No shit. That's a lot more entertaining, whether you believe it or not, even for a person who is in stage 3. So ask for no details and don't assume anything. Normalize neutrally. Now, here's the thing. If a child falls down and all the grown-ups in the room get up, scream, and run towards the child going, oh my God, how are you doing? You're sending a very clear signal to that child that they should go, because otherwise they will make you disappointed, and children don't want that. So another approach, if a child falls down in a room, is you go, oh, you fell down, obviously. Did you find anything? So normalizing neutrally is also if you're dealing with somebody who has had an unspeakable incident and they go, this and this happened to me. So you stay neutral and you say, wow, how do you feel about it now? And then they say, that's not the big deal. So what is the big deal? Well, the big deal is this other thing. And then you go, can we wiggle a little bit? And I do that from the beginning of the session, always, because it will make them feel differently. It will make them calm down. And I say, before we continue talking, could we take a deep breath and just hold it for a few seconds? Because that will press more oxygen into your heart. And as you relax, maintain your posture, and they will feel calmer. And you're already calmed them down, and you haven't even spoken about whatever troubles them. So you normalize neutrally, and then again, and again, you focus on verbalizing and painting the mirage of what they want, not what they don't want. So in clean language, there are plenty of ways of doing that. So it's 12 questions. And one of them is, what kind of X is that X? Now, the whole idea of clean is to hold up a mirror for them to explore themselves, not something else. And having said that, I have no idea what times we put on this. If I said 1 hour, I lied, because we will continue. So are you with me or are you against me? I know where you live. Okay, cool. So I can go until 1/2 more or less, and we're going to have loads of stuff. And if you need to leave, leave, and that's fine. And if you don't, it'll be recorded anyhow, and you'll be good. And actually, Einstein said that time is relative. And we're all in different time zones. So one of us is going to be in the right time anyhow. So here we go again. What kind of X is that X? So somebody says, I feel distress. What kind of distress is that distress? The beauty of this is that you're holding up a mirror, not only reflecting their word, but you're asking them, out of your experience of every distress that you ever heard about or experienced, which one is this? So that's the idea why the formula is, what kind of X is that X? Because it holds up a double mirror. It gives them a map. So it's, what kind of X is that X? What kind of distress is that distress? What kind of a fruit is that fruit? What kind of a funky is that funky? And then maybe somebody says, that distress is like really exhausting. And then you can say, and that exhausting is like what? And again, this isn't normal grammar. This is hypnotic language patterns. It forces the brain of the person to look inside. And you don't want to disturb that. That's why it's called clean. You don't want to put in your words or your experiences or your guesses or being smart or being, trying to find out where they should go from here. You're just saying, oh, and that distress is exhausting, is like what? And you'd think they go, what the hell are you saying? What kind of grammar is that? But it hasn't happened to me yet. And then if you want to continue with the clean language, more language patterns would be, so distressed and exhausting. And what would that like to have happen next? And that's presupposing or insinuating that distressed and exhausting actually have a motive. That they're like FedEx knocking on your door going, here's a message for you. Would you please sign for it? And instead of punching FedEx in the jaw or pulling a bag over FedEx head or pretending that FedEx isn't there or getting really drunk so you don't notice FedEx, instead of doing that, you actually open the door, sign the form, and receive that emotion, because every emotion is there to guide you somewhere. So what would that distressed, kind of like exhaustion, like to have happen next? And not like to happen next, like to have happen, because that's to have or have not, which is not what Hamlet said in Shakespeare. He said, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well, but that's okay. So, and that X is like what? So, clean language is the art of subtly holding up a mirror so that your client can go inside themselves and examine what they're actually thinking, because what they're thinking is causing what they're feeling. So when somebody says, I have this huge problem, you go, what kind of huge is that huge? And they go, like mashed potatoes. And you go, and you smile like it's your best friend who's nuts. And you go, and what would mashed potatoes like to have happen next? And they go, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? They need a sausage and we don't have one. And this is the thing. As soon as you walk into the metaphor of the mind of a person, you are behind the curtain in the land of Oz. Because you have two halves of the brain. The left brain with a broca language center will use words, but words are symbols. They are placeholders. They're not facts. A fruit is not a fact. An apple is not a fact. A stepmother is not a fact. Even depression isn't a fact. If you cannot put it in a wheelbarrow, it's not a fact. So this is the nominalization that most people do. They generalize something into a nominalization, into a noun, which it isn't. So somebody says, I have low self-esteem. Self-esteem is nothing you can put in a wheelbarrow. It has no shape or form. It has no direction. It's a generalization. It's a word that could mean anything. So you need to alert them to the fact while they're havening in some form or another, wiggling or doing the hands or doing the shoulders, and you just ask them, and why are you doing the havening while you ask them? Because you have no idea if there is a trauma lodged under the next metaphor that they find. Just because they came to you to stop smoking or biting the nails doesn't mean that there isn't a trauma. So you always assume trauma, because if a person isn't traumatized, then they're not a person. We're all traumatized in some way or another. So always assume that. So you need to be able to distract and start the delta wave so that it's safe. And then you're going, okay, low self-esteem. What kind of self-esteem is that low? And they go, oh, you know. And you go, well, I'm not sure. What is that lowest self-esteem? Is like what? And they go, you know, when you feel like you're 4 years old and standing in front of your big brother and he knows how to whistle and you can't. Now, that could be a memory or that could be a metaphor, but it doesn't matter. As soon as you have a symbol, a symbolic image to work with, then you can take that anywhere. You work with a metaphor, not with the facts. Oh, so you're 4 years old and standing in front of your brother and he knows how to whistle and you can't. What if you had a whistling recorded on your smartphone and you just held it up and moved your lips? What would happen then? And they will laugh and go, fooled him. And then they will walk out and say, that's the best therapist I ever saw. How do you know? Because I smiled when I left them. And if worse comes to worse, you can actually tickle them. I'm dead serious. So there's this thing called a laughing anchor. So as soon as a client laughs or smiles, you can do this little analog marker. You know what I'm talking about, Raya? Analog marker? No? So Lizzie, have you ever experienced anything funny in your life? Anything hilarious?
Have I ever experienced? Of course I have. I'm not sure
Yeah.
I can recall anything. But
You
of
can't
course,
recall
yeah.
your hilarious moments?
No, I have.
Have you ever forgotten your car keys?
Certainly.
Yeah, so you need to learn how to forget the real things and remember the good things, okay? So boop, forget everything bad and just boop, remember the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So do you remember any time or moment where you were so uncontrollably euphoric or ecstatic that you couldn't stop laughing?
Well, it happens a lot with my sister.
With your sister?
Yeah, we crack
Yeah.
each other up. We laugh so hard, no sound comes out.
Yeah. And can you tap into that emotion right now?
Sure. Yeah.
So what we have here, look at her smile now. See, I'm gonna use you, okay? That's okay with you?
Use me.
I'm using you. So here we are. Look at that lovely smile. Now, who put that on her face? I didn't. She did. How did she do it? Her sister did. She thought about her sister and the smile came automatically. What is she doing? Feeling good. What is she going to say? Best therapy in the world. And now I've been using an analog marker, which is just a sound, right? So close your eyes and just imagine whatever you want. And then and exactly how do you feel now, Lizzie?
I feel happy. Feel buoyant.
Flamboyant.
No,
that-
buoyant. Buoyant.
Oh, buoyant. I thought flamboyant. I thought that would be a good thing.
I aspire to that.
Yeah, that's a good thing. There you go. Thank you. So what it's all about is to have people access the emotion they would like to have. They just forgot it. You know, the memory is there. The hormones are there. They're already programmed. It's all done. All you need to do is say, you know, Florence, do you remember any time you yawned really, really a lot?
Yes.
Is that very long ago?
No, actually.
No. See? So this is the whole secret. If you want to have more clients, advertising is not going to bring them to you. Did you ever answer an ad that wasn't credible at all? No, this is therapy. You want to go to a person you trust, and the person you trust is somebody who made somebody else feel good. So you will go to a client, to a therapist or a coach that somebody else says, hey, you should try mine. They're fun. But you also have to be authentic and credible and true. So you should never try to joke, you know? You should never try to make fun of anything, because that's really unclean. You just simply ask them, you know, what's your funniest memory? And they go, I don't know, I don't have one. For real? Wow, that must be tough. Not even one? Never even made a bubble in the bath when you were a kid? You know? Without a straw. So what you need to do is, you know, just a little bit of fingertip feeling there, and you know, make sure that you're not stumbling across it. Some people come to you carrying this enormous load. They might look okay, but they have this really sensitive thing they just want to finally have somebody receive. So of course you're careful. I mean, say if your friend knocks your door in the middle of the night, you're not going to go like, yeah, let's have fun. You know, it's like, how are you doing? Are you okay? You know, I mean, just sincere and authentic and grounded. And can we please wiggle? So I'm going to repeat the science for those of you who claim not to be therapists, although you've already therapized at least 6 young people. I'm not thinking about any specific, Janine. So we're going to go through the window of healing here, because the timing is impeccable. And this is what the science of havening gives us. And this science allows us to do things regardless if we're doing havening or waggling to and fro or doing a butterfly hug like this, which a lot of clients prefer when it's a longer session because their arms get tired. So just put your thumbs together and let that butterfly land on your chest. And, you know, you're not tapping. It's lazy. It's one wing and then it's the other wing. And then it's one wing, really slow. And then one wing and the other wing. It's like, oh, I'm a butterfly. Oh, this is my hug. Here you go. So this was invented in Honduras or Haiti, I don't remember which, after the earthquake, where people went there to do EMDR, and they couldn't do EMDR for everybody. But this is also bihemispherical stimulation because you're crossing your hands over your chest. So your brain gets confused going left hand tapping right chest, going to left brain, going to ah. And then James Brown comes in and you feel good. So the window of healing. This is it. This is the science of havening and tapping and any sensomotoric therapy in the world. And thanks to Ronald Rudin and a study made by Harper, 2012, we can now understand it. So when you are stressed, you could be just stressed or just very anxious or even traumatized. It doesn't really matter. It's the same mechanism. And it's the same mechanism for post-euphoric stress. When something good happened and when you remember it, you smile. That's the same thing. Emotions stowed away with a memory. So when your client connects to a feeling that isn't pleasant, it is because they either have smelled, seen, heard, tasted, or something in their body has reminded them of something that wasn't pleasant in the past. It could be conscious or unconscious or subconscious or beyond conscious. It could also be something in the brain, like a thought. Again, that thought could be conscious or subconscious, because it could be that they were traumatized when their hamster died and they're over it intellectually and they never thought about it since. And then one day, there's this kid program playing on the television. They get depressed all of a sudden by Teletubbies. Wow, that's weird. And they don't even remember it. But the day their hamster died, it was Teletubbies on the TV. So that sound is part of the things that could remind them of that feeling. So when that happens, the alarm is sounded in Amy, like Dr. Kate Truitt calls her. Amy is your amygdala. And we say it's a her because she's wise. And then there is a window of opportunity where Amy, that's the little red thing, actually activates synapses, here illustrated by the metaphor of a white round cylinder with a gray edge. So these synapses here, they actually are activated, and they are the connection between the stimuli and the reaction. Now there is a window of 10 minutes, more or less, during which you need to create a delta wave. And remember, there is 1 zillion ways of creating delta waves. Havening is one, butterfly hug is another, tapping is another, dancing is another, meditating if you can. A glass of wine could actually create a delta wave. So here you go. The window of healing starts the delta wave, and the delta wave will actually start a mechanical neurobiological process. It will open calcineurin channels in the amygdala, and these will automatically find any active synapses and depotentiate them so they shrink and fall away and never come back. And this is the process called depotentiation, and it's permanent. And once it's done, there is peace and olive branches for everybody. So if you know this and trust this, all you need to do and everything you need to do is to connect to the feeling. And you don't have to connect a lot. You can connect ever so lightly. And once the feeling is there, whether it is connected to a memory that is specific or subconsciously, or to the memory of having had the feeling, doesn't matter. If you have the delta wave already a little bit started and you've smiled at them as if they're going to be your best friend, and then they connect to the feeling and you ask them, how strong is that feeling? From 0 to 10. So you could ask them, how does it feel? Where is it in your body? Does it have a shape or direction? How strong is it from 0 to 10? And just for them to become self-conscious. And then you do the session, and after the session, here is the recommendation. You do not say, are you feeling good? Are you okay now? Is this fine? Are you better? That is so unclean. Don't do that. You should say, what do you notice? Again, you're holding up the mirror for them to go inside to find out what is different. What is different? You're presupposing something is different, so the language is very carefully chosen. What do you notice that is different? So they'll say, instead of saying, oh, it's a 4 now, they're going to say, I don't know. It's like empty. And you can go, what kind of empty is that empty? Or they'll go, it's an itch on the back of my scalp. Are you talking of? Or something. And then after that, you can say, where is the SUD, subjective unit of distress, now? And they'll go a 3 or a 4 or a 2. And this is where you are not married to the outcome. You're not married to getting to 0. You have no idea where they need to be. So instead, you just say, once they've said the number, regardless of number, you say, is this good or bad? And why is it like this? Well, if you're a police officer and you get a call of domestic abuse, that's the most difficult one. You go there, you enter the house, there is a woman bleeding on the ground, there is a father standing with something in his hand that might be threatening, and you just notice that there's a child walking into the bedroom and closing the door. Now, you don't know what you have to attend to here. You start taking the man in custody to assure that he's safe and won't harm anybody, and then you start walking to the car. Then the 12-year-old who had run into the bedroom for a baseball bat to defend his dad will come and hit you in the head. So you have no idea what will play out in that. So you can't really go down to a 0 and enter like a Buddha. Ooh, what's going on here, kiddos? So you want to have a stress level. And the same thing goes if it's something going on in your life. So you might get the stress of being abused in a park from 8 to 4. And then you're saying 4, I feel 4. So is that good or bad? And the person will just feel it and go, I think it's good. because they want that 4 to stay there so that they can be vigilant when they go into the park, because they don't want to be surprised again. So you have no idea where it should go. So don't assume it. Assume nothing. And then after that is the best thing of all. You say, congratulations. And why do you do that? Because you want to empower them. You see, the thing is this. People think you are intelligent, and there are studies of this, if you shut up and listen and smile. Anybody who looks interested when you talk, people will say, oh, I love Ulf. He's so intelligent. He shuts up all the time and just listens to me. Now, in fact, I don't, but this is, this is my spot. I should be talking, or Andrea won't have anything to itch. So the thing is this. If you listen and smile, people will think you're intelligent. If you make people feel good about themselves, they will like you and think that you are a very powerful therapist and coach. And you don't want them to leave thinking that they are relying on you. So you say, congratulations. Wow, well done. So there you go. All right. I have no idea if this is what you expected or not, but it may be useful. So please, we have 7 minutes. If you have any questions specifically, you could throw them at me. If we don't have time for them, you can mail me. And you can throw them into the chat. And you could put them in a bottle and just, put the bottle out in the woods, and I might answer it, and we'd both be surprised. Okay. Florence is happy. Florence is happy, you all. I like Florence.
I have a question.
Yep.
So you said not to ask for details, and I've been trying to use clean language, but what I'm bumping up against is I have a few clients, a couple teenagers who, how are you feeling bad? How does that feel bad? Tell me about that. What's that bad like? Bad. What do I need to say? Bad is bad. I feel shitty. And then I try to just kind of be in that space and let them come up with something, but then nothing comes. And then that's when I kind of go to suggesting things. And I know that that's not part of clean language. So do you have a suggestion for that scenario?
Yeah, I actually do have a suggestion, and a suggestion for that scenario and every other scenario. And I know Kristen is going to be laughing. Okay. So here's the answer to that. Should I stick to clean language at every cost?
It depends.
There you go. So
Okay.
what I do in those cases is, what it's about, it's not about being clean or unclean. It's about, the goal of clean is not to be clean. It's not I'm so good because I'm clean. The goal of clean is to make them notice what it is they do that makes them feel bad. So it's something they think. It's an image, a memory, or a word, or they're focusing on some part of their body. So that, or the future, that is what is making them feel bad. And unless they find that out, there is no way you can haven it.
Okay.
Or tap it. So give me an example. So if I ask you, what's wrong, what would they say?
Yeah, I got in an argument with my mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, argument with your mom. Normalized neutrally. Yeah, argument with your mom, of course. Who hasn't? So what would you like to have happen next?
I would like to not feel so bad.
And not feel so bad is like what?
So this is where where they just kind of go, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I just
You don't know? So that but I'm with you. So does that mean, I don't know, does that mean that you never didn't feel bad?
No.
So there are times when you didn't feel bad.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So what is such a time when you didn't feel bad?
When my mom and I were getting along, when we were playing tennis.
Yeah. So just, waggle a little bit to and fro and put your hands together and do like this. And, and just close your eyes and tell me what is different between when you and your mother got along just great and when you and your mother didn't. And all they have to do is explore that. And the answer isn't, I don't know.
Okay. So it's okay just to prompt them with that. The answer is not.
Of course.
I don't
Everything is okay. It's like havening is not about if you're doing event or if or af or out or whatever. It's about making them feel good about a memory, a fantasy about the future, or a reaction they cannot control.
Okay.
So those are the three things that we are doing. We're fixing memories that haunt us from the past. That's your rear mirror. We're fixing stuff right now. That's the bumblebee that got into the car and you're swatting at it. And we're fixing the future, which is that person down the road that says gas 99 cents and you want to go there, or it stresses you. Right?
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Jonas. I like you too. And David. Jeez, I like you guys.
I got a question.
Yes.
I do havening sometimes, but I'm not actually trained in havening other than what you've trained me in the videos.
Yes.
But so if we would just start tapping and did the same clean language thing, because that's the thing about tapping is they stay so stuck on the trauma that, do you know what I mean? That's the thing I have always with energy psychology is we need to, where are we going to move forward to?
Right. So the thing is this, the thing is you've had a wound at some time, right? You scraped your elbow, you fell into the grass. Right. So when you want to clean that wound, what you want to do is you want to get some just lukewarm water, a little bit of soap is better than alcohol, and you just clean it out. And then you tell them to put a Band-Aid on it. Why do you put the Band-Aid on it?
So it doesn't get exposed to anything yet.
What happens if it gets exposed?
It will get reinfected.
Exactly. So that's the reason for clean, but it's also the reason for distraction, right?
Right.
So distraction is anything that takes their mind to a completely different place than the place that was causing them the feeling they just had. Now, easy ways to distract are these. So very simple distraction techniques. You could count backwards, but I've actually skipped that because a lot of people have prestige in math and feel awkward and are afraid they will do the wrong thing. So instead of counting backwards, I say, repeat after me, 5. And they go 5, 22, 22, 301, 301. So I'm making the number longer and just making sure that they are with me because this is flow. I don't want to do it too slow. I don't want to do it too fast, but I want them to join me with something that takes up their mind. So I could ask them to name 5 cities they'd like to visit, or 5 animals they'd like to own, or sing a tune with me because singing takes up the whole brain, or changing all vowels to I. That's very good. It's impulse control. So if you want to try it right now, say after me, even to do evening.
Even to be evening.
Evening is so much fun.
Evening is so much fun.
I like the new president.
New president.
There you go. So the thing is this, it makes you laugh because the vowel I forces you into a smile. And again, there you have the hormones that come with smiling. So it's very easy. It's child's game. And then what you can do is you ask them to sound a word forwards. Let's all sound together the word havening. H-A-V-E-N-I-N-G. Now that is your auditive memory, and that's phonetic use. So you're using the auditive representation system. Now you tell people, close your eyes and see the word havening printed in front of you and read it backwards. G-N-I-N-E-F-Q. And there you go. There's a smile. Therapy session over. All you have to do is say the wrong letter. So how are we feeling right now?
Good.
Any more questions?
Me? Hello? It's Andrea.
Yes. Oh, itch.
So listen, I know you don't even, okay. The reason why I was asking about the smiling is because since I've dealt with a lot of people in special operations, if they were to come to me and say like, I just had a really fucked up thing, happen to me, and I'd be like, they'd be like, what the fuck are you smiling like? Are you psycho? They would like totally throw me on the bus. Here in Spain, if I smile at someone on the street, they look at me as if I'm messed up because they're like, why are you smiling at me? I don't know you. Yeah. So I think it's a cultural thing. And also within that type of community where there are a lot of alpha people, that would be like kind of like animals. You gotta think like animals, like gorillas, like, why are you showing me your teeth? It's kind of that mentality.
So could I ask you a question? Do these people never smile at their friends?
When they do, normally it's in very specific situations. Like if they're talking about something deep, because you got to understand the level that they're at normally is not a great space that they're working in mentally. So when they drink, they smile.
And what kind of smile is that?
It's never like when they first start, before they start drinking, and they're like, yeah. But they're always guarded. They're so guarded about themselves, without the other people, because they never want to show that they're weak. So smiling's kind of weak. So that's like
so what I'm saying is, if you want to smile, you smile the way they would smile as a friend.
Okay.
So if that means that they don't smile, then that's fine.
All right, good.
And also, I would just remind to assume nothing.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. All right. It was great. I think you're a fun crowd to be with. I would love to hang with you all night long, but here it's actually all night long. So let's just say good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
Will you send the recording? Will you send the recording?
Yes, absolutely. Where do you want it?
That's what I was going to tell you. I mean, because we say put your name in the chat box and your email. You haven't done that yet. So I'm like,
no, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the recording to those who signed up for the seminar, and those who missed it will get it too. And that's fine because they've all signed with their names and emails. So I count it as GDPR. Okay. And so you'll just get a mail from Wix saying, hi, here is your recording. And all I want you to do is smile. If we're good with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elf.
Thanks for everything.
Brilliant.
There'll be a fourth time. There will be more. Bye. Great move, Jonah.
Thanks, Ulf.
All
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.